Do you have a favorite pizza place that you remember as a child that's maybe no longer there? Well, I do. It was called Pietro Pizza, and my sister used to work there when we were in high school, and they had the most amazing, delicious pizza. They had a taco pizza that I remember from when I was a child, and I must say though, my favorite's pepperoni. It will always be pepperoni, but their taco pizza was delicious, and we're going to go ahead and make that today together. Let's get started. We're going to go ahead and get started on our dough first. This is a dough that you want to make the day before, or even 2 days before. I think it's best 2 days before. That's just my personal preference, but it's easy. You do want to do what's called a cold ferment. So we're going to go ahead and get started on that. All it takes is a little bit of yeast, a tablespoon of honey into some warm water. Doesn't have to be hot, but we need this honey in there. It's going to add just a hint of flavor, and it's going to help make this yeast bloom. Give that a stir for a second. Okay. And then I'm just using regular old all-purpose flour. I'm not using anything fancy, just what you've got in your cupboard. It will work just fine. Okay, so this doesn't take very long. You can see my yeast is already foaming up really fast. So we're going to go ahead and get that into our flour. Looks like I missed just a little bit of yeast. And then we're just going to mix it up. If this looks a little dry, because it all always depends on your flour. If your flour needs a little bit more hydration, don't be afraid to add just a little bit of water to this flour. It doesn't want to be a real wet dough, but you want it to be able to come together. And it looks like I might need to add just a little bit more water to this. So let me grab a little bit more water, and then I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got just a little bit more water here in my measuring cup, and we're just going to pour in a little bit at a time and see what we get. Remember, we don't want to get this sopping wet. Maybe just a little bit more. Just a little. Okay, that looks like it's probably going to come together pretty good. Okay, so this is our dough that we've got. You can see it's still not super wet, but it's getting hydrated. So this dough you're going to leave out on your countertop, covered up with some plastic wrap, covered for about 5 hours. You want that yeast to get nice and bubbly in there. And then from your countertop, you're going to go ahead and put it into your refrigerator overnight. Don't skip that step. That's what makes this dough that bubbly goodness. It gives it more flavor when it's cooking, and it helps it to bubble up bigger, because this is going to be for a deep dish. So this is dough that I already have ready. It's lovely. You can see all these gorgeous bubbles in there. I don't know if you can see that, if you can pick that up on the camera, but there's all these beautiful bubbles. This has been sitting in the refrigerator for 2 days, and it's just gorgeous. So we're going to go ahead and turn this out. This recipe of dough will make 2 pizzas in my, I think this is a 10 or 12 inch cast iron skillet. It's going to be a deep dish pizza. So we're going to go ahead and get this turned out. You may need some flour onto your surface. It just depends on how wet your dough was. It's feeling pretty sticky, you can see that. But it's not really, I mean, it's sticking to my fingers, but it's not bad. And that's what we want. Okay, so it released from the bowl pretty good. Set this over here. And then, like I said, this is going to make 2 pizzas, so we're going to go ahead and, yeah, I've got a little bit of flour here just so I can work with this dough. So we've got 2 dough balls here. Yeah, that didn't look as sticky in the bowl as it does now. So we've got our 2 rounds of dough. Okay, those look pretty good. Into our cast iron skillet, we are going to be putting, my favorite is extra virgin olive oil, but you can use light olive oil if that's what you've got. If you've only got avocado oil, you can use avocado oil. I have never used this with canola oil or another vegetable oil, but I don't see why you couldn't. But the extra virgin olive oil is where you're going to get the flavor. So that's what I recommend. You're also going to be very liberal with this olive oil. This is not where you want to skimp. So we're going to get that coated into our pan, like so. You do not have to preheat your skillet. You do want to preheat your oven. So you need a skillet or a pan that can take high temperatures. That's why I'm cooking in the cast iron skillet. Plus that skillet gets that golden crispy edges that I just love on pizza, and I just can't get that on a cookie sheet. But you can in a cast iron skillet, so that's what I do because that's how we like our pizza. So we're going to go ahead and get our dough ball ready to go, and just get your hands a little damp with that olive oil that's in your pan, and you want to press this out with your fingertips. And don't worry about it, it will all come to the edges. At first it might look like you're really fighting your dough, but just keep at it. It'll work out and it'll fill up that whole pan. And if you get olive oil onto the top of your dough, that's just more flavor, don't worry about that. But you want to just use your fingertips to press that out and bring it all the way to the edges. Just keep working with it. It just takes a few minutes. Okay, we're about there. Try to make it so it's even. You want the thicker ends to be, or the edges to be where the thickness is, because we want this pizza to cook all the way through. And those thicker edges is what's going to hold the toppings in place from spilling over the sides. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. There we go. And you can see we've got that to our edges. And to this, we are going to add our refried beans. So we just have a can of regular old refried beans. Mine just happens to be the black beans. You could use your favorite, it doesn't matter. We just want to break this up a little bit into a bowl so that it gets soft, because you know how firm that is when it's in the can. So we're just going to break that up, nothing special. And we're going to put a layer, a very thin layer of black beans on the top of our pizza dough here. Break it up. All right. So might get a little messy here. Try not to rip your dough when you're doing this step. we're just going to go ahead and put it, you know, dotted around the dough so that we can spread it out and try to get as much of the beans spread out as evenly as possible. Like so. Because we want to have that black bean layer in every bite of our pizza. Okay, just try to work it out. Maybe put a little bit of olive oil on your spoon or your utensil. Just spread that to the edges. Oh yeah, it's coming together. That olive oil, with your dipping your spoon into the olive oil, that really helps spread this a lot easier. That's making that job smoother. Try not to rip that dough. Okay. And you don't want a thick layer because you want this to cook all the way through. You just want that flavor on there. You want to know you're eating a taco pizza. All right. I'm going to set this aside and I'll be right back. We've got our beans all spread out onto our dough. It looks lovely. Next, I wish I had a smaller can of this enchilada sauce, but I don't. But we're going to be using a red enchilada sauce. We're going to go ahead and get that open. And I'm not going to open the top all the way because I want to pour this on top of our beans. So just get that, a nice layer of that. You don't want to drench your pizza, but you want that flavor from the enchilada sauce. Okay, just like so. That looks really good. Ooh, I'm getting excited about eating this. I haven't had this for a while. Okay. And this is how Pietro Pizza did their taco pizza. They used an enchilada sauce. I've seen where some people use salsa. Some people don't use the salsa at all. Some people use a pizza, your typical Italian pizza sauce. This is Pietro Pizza's top secret ingredient. Okay, our next layer. I have here some ground beef that I have, it's 1 pound of ground beef that I followed the packet directions for, just your regular taco packet. I drained it and drained the grease off of it, and then I added the packet of seasoning and then cooked it some more. If you want to make these the day before, that's more helpful. If you have time for that. It makes assembling this pizza so much faster and you can get dinner on the table in no time. So we're going to go ahead and add a little bit of our taco meat. And just spread that on out. You want to get a bite of that in every single piece of pizza that you've got. Don't layer it too thick because you need that center to cook. Okay, so that's looking pretty good there. Oh yeah, that's gonna be delicious. Maybe a little more. All right, next we have some mozzarella cheese and some cheddar cheese. We're gonna use just a little bit of mozzarella cheese for that melty goodness, so that it'll just have that more authentic pizza melt that you're used to. We're just going to use a little bit, and don't be shy about putting your cheese all the way up against the edges. That's where you get that caramely goodness, that Dutch oven kind of effect, where it gets that cheese just crusted on the edges. That's where you get that from. In fact, I'm going to add just a little bit more onto the edges. A little bit of extra cheese never hurt anybody. All right, there we go. Then, because this is a taco pizza, we're going to use cheddar cheese. Oh, this is looking good. You want to go ahead and use a cheese too. I think you'll find a difference between shredding your own cheese and just getting some that's pre-shredded. The pre-shredded has some additives to it so that it doesn't cake. It also will make it so your cheese doesn't melt as well. So you'll get a better result if you go ahead and shred your own cheese. So our cheese is on here. We've got it all ready to go. Our oven is turned on to 450 degrees. Now, if your oven or if your pizza pan won't take that high of temperature, you can cook this pizza at 425. I've done that several times when I didn't have this pan. If you've got a cast iron pot or pan, I would do it in there, and I would definitely cook it at 450. But if you don't have that, that's fine. Just use something that can tolerate the temperature of 425 degrees. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get this in the oven. I have set my oven to 450, and we're going to put that pizza in for about 20 minutes, and then we're going to go ahead and check it and see how it's looking. It may need a few more minutes. Okay. Can you see all that? Can you see how that got all crispy and that cheese got onto the edges and just made that ooey gooey goodness? So because this is a taco pizza, we want to go ahead and let this sit for just a few minutes. We don't want to put our shredded lettuce on top of this while it's still scalding hot. So we're going to go ahead and let this rest just for a couple minutes, and then we're going to add some shredded lettuce, and we've got some diced fresh tomato. We've got some sliced up olives, and then on top of all that, we're going to crush up a little bit of tortilla chips right on top, so you get that taco aspect of this pizza. And we'll be right back. Our pizza's cooled down just a little bit, and we're going to go ahead and add our shredded lettuce. Okay, just like so. Then we're going to add our diced tomato. And you don't want to weigh this pizza down with all these toppings. You want to be able to pick your pizza up and still be able to eat it. We're going to go ahead and get these olives on here. This is looking so good. I can't wait to eat this. We like lots of olives. Okay, we've got our olives here. And then I'm going to add just a little bit more of fresh cheddar cheese. Oh, this looks so good. I can't wait to eat it. I am so hungry. This looks a lot like what I remember growing up at Pietro pizzas. Okay. You can skip this step, but I think you should add it. This is what they always did on their pizza, and it really gives that more authentic taco flavor, and it's just really good. You can use Doritos too if you like Doritos. We're just using regular corn chips today. Few more. Okay. Oh, that looks delicious. I can't wait to bite into this. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and we're going in with the cutter. maybe. Pick all those pieces back up and put those onto our pizza. Okay, and there you have it, guys. There's our Pietro pizza copycat taco pizza. I hope you guys try this. Down in the description below, leave me a comment and tell me what your favorite pizza is. And if you've got a favorite memory of a childhood pizza parlor that is no longer in existence, go ahead and put that in the description below, also in the comments.